Alright, time once again to put the spotlight on some crazy exploitation flicks from the Great White North, proving that Canada's film industry was catering to stoners way before pot was legalized. My first Canuxsploitation-A-Thon began with a movie about a giant bug, the second one kicked off with a movie about giant rats, so now I'm gonna start this one with a movie about a giant snake. Spasms is a 1983 horror movie directed by William Fruitt, who also made Blue Monkey. So there's another connection to my previous Canuxsploitation-A-Thons. Believe it or not, killer snake movies were actually kinda popular in the early 80s, with movies like Venom, Jaws of Satan, and Copperhead. So I guess this movie was just trying to cash in on a trend of snakesploitation. Based off the novel Death Bite, Spasms had a troubled production history, being filmed in 1981 but not getting a release until 1983. And even after it did get released, it almost immediately faded into obscurity despite being featured on the cover of an issue of Fangoria. That could be because most of the movie's marketing tried to hide the fact that it's about a killer snake and instead made it seem like a Scanners knockoff. Even the Fangoria cover looks like it's about a guy who just got stung by a bunch of giant bees. But with a gory cover like that, we can rest assured that this movie is going to be disturbing. All the terror of a relaxing walk on the beach. Anyway, we begin on a small uncharted island somewhere off the coast of Toronto. I'm getting some heavy cannibal holocaust vibes from this intro. Hopefully they didn't kill any giant monster snakes for real in this movie. Whatever ritual these natives are doing must be important since they put on their sacred internet meme face masks for it.
So stupid, these natives. 2 days of dancing and nothing come.
Look, you're basically at a tribal EDM festival. Just let them get high and have fun. These two are poachers that have journeyed to the jungles of deepest, darkest Ontario to observe a tribal ritual intended to summon a giant snake the tribe worships as a devil. Unfortunately, someone lit the Burning Man statue before it was finished and ruined the ceremony. Oh well, it still seems to have worked. Either that or they really pissed off the cameraman. Making a giant snake movie but don't have a ton of money? Just tint the film blue and don't show it. Seriously, even when they drop a net on it, you still can't see it. It must have really good camouflage. Not showing the monster is a technique usually used to build suspense. In this case, though, I think it has something to do with those production troubles I mentioned earlier. The poachers were ordered to capture the snake by a rich businessman named Jason Kincaid, played by Oliver Reed, or as I like to call him, me if I traveled back in time to become an actor in England. It's nice to know Oliver Reed's there to be a roadmap of what I'll look like if my drinking ever gets the better of me. So, me in 10 years, pretty much. Speaking of which, looks like Oliver's in the middle of one of his alcohol-induced night sweats.
It's a man named Mendez in Port Moresby. He says it's imperative. I think he's been drinking, Jason.
Well, that's one thing they have in common. This call better be important.
Where is it now?
I don't think you know very much about this animal, Mr. Kincaid, because if you did, you wouldn't want me to send it to the States.
You're not sending it to the States, you're sending it to Canada, you idiot! Didn't you see the name of the marathon? Here's another way to convince people this movie isn't Canadian. Just put Captain America in it. No, not that Captain America. This Captain America. Peter Fonda plays Professor Thomas Brazilian, so named because his family's from Argentina. Tom's a psychologist who's also studying ESP, so I guess he went to the Peter Venkman School of Expertise. I, however, like to imagine that he teaches at the same school as Dennis Hopper from My Science Project. And before anyone asks, sure, I might do my science project one of these days. Oh, wait a minute, this must take place in America. Look, you can see the Seattle Space Needle in the background. Tom goes to visit Kincaid, and even though it's 9 a.m., it's still not too early to start drinking. Kincaid explains that while on a hunting trip, a snake bit him and also killed his brother, and now he wants to capture it and bring it back for study. You know, you'd think Oliver Reed would know by now to stay away from killer snakes. He was in Venom. Oh, and he also says that ever since he was bitten, he's had a telepathic link with the snake because... it's a movie, I guess? Alright, they do give an explanation for that. Sort of.
But if I'm correct, the brain proteins involved in telepathy are produced by virus, well, there's clearly no reason why the snake couldn't be carrying that virus and have transmitted it to you when you were attacked.
Well, sounds logical to me. I also have a theory that pink eye can give you heat vision. Well, this worked out great. Not only does Kincaid agree to bankroll Tom's ESP research, but now he has another drinking buddy, too. No, seriously, both Peter Fonda and Oliver Reed were notorious for going out to bars and getting shit-faced while filming this movie. Peter Fonda even cut his forehead in a bar fight and allegedly had to wear a flesh-colored band-aid to finish the movie. I tried to find a couple shots where you could see it, but they hit it pretty well. Unfortunately for Kincaid, he's not the only one interested in the snake.
All you want is I should watch it.
And you could help me get it out of the dock, stateside, that's all. I'll double this when I see you stateside.
Wow, you mean you'll give me $2 whole? That's assuming, of course, the snake even makes it there. Great, not only is the snake venomous, it also kills people through stupidity. Damn, looks like everyone in this movie's interested in snakes.
To worship the Lord in the way of the Lord, to triumph with the Lord over transgression.
Fun fact, at church services in Canada, instead of communion wine, they make you drink snake venom. So yeah, there's now a subplot about a reverend in a snake-worshipping cult who also wants the snake so they can worship it or sacrifice it? I don't know, whatever they want it for, the lighting here says it's probably evil.
The serpent of Narakapintu guards the gates of hell, the living creation, the incarnation of our master.
You know, instead of a giant killer snake, couldn't you just scam people with magic water or something? Meanwhile, the snake's being transported to Americanada, and even though this isn't a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, it's still probably not a good idea to go wandering around a boiler room. Okay, that's a new one. Instead of a fake-out cat scare, we got a fake-out steam scare. Here's the thing about fake-out scares, though. They're usually followed by real ones.
Against the law, trafficking animals, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I'm taking my China White heroin and telling the cops about this. Speaking of heroin, looks like somebody's going through some bad withdrawal. Well, at least now he shouldn't have any trouble finding a vein. Oh, never mind, he's dead. That guy's not the only one having a rough time. One of Kincaid's speeches gets interrupted when he gets a bad case of the whiskey shits.
I've got to get out of here, Susan. I've got to get out of here.
Wait, is that what's happening?
Because I feel it here! I feel it down inside within me! I feel it!
Shit, I think it is. Alright, time to have a little nightcap before I hook up my Jack Daniels IV for the night. First though, some vacation slides. Yes, that was the time my brother was killed by a giant snake and then his stunt double slipped on a banana peel. Haha, memories. Oh, and if you're wondering just who this is, it's Kincaid's niece, Suzanne.
When Father died, you took me in. I didn't ask to come live with you. You brought me here.
You know you're 30. You could probably just get your own place now. At first I thought Suzanne was supposed to be Kincaid's girlfriend, and I think Oliver Reed also thinks that.
Kiss me goodnight. Kiss me. Properly.
Uncle Oliver gets creepy when he drinks. Anyway, Tom goes to pick up the snake, which has arrived at U.S. Customs, because fuck you, that's totally where we are now.
Oh, what sort of animal is it? Scutulatus cani, large, poisonous snake.
Okay, but I'm gonna have to check the snake's butt for weed first. We can't have anything dangerous coming into this country. The snake is taken to the local university. Listen, fellas, just put it next to the rage monkeys. I'm sure it'll be fine. Jeez, not only is the snake dangerous to humans, it also just poisoned the film quality. We just shifted to VHS vision. You'd think housing a highly dangerous snake would warrant some extra security, but these two managed to break in surprisingly easy. And why does everyone immediately try to open the snake's container? Well, what did you think was gonna happen? At least now we managed to get a couple glimpses of the snake to go along with the POV shots, although the editing here is a little choppy. I swear I didn't do anything to that footage. I think the editor just had a spasm. Well, that's enough snake killing for now. Peter Fonda's got to put the moves on Suzanne.
I lived in 6 countries before I was 16.
Did they also try to pretend they were the US? Unfortunately for Tom, he gets cock-blocked when he has to go investigate the snake. Well, these people may be dead, but at least the video quality seems to have made a full recovery.
Look what it did back there!
I saw what it did back there. Those wounds weren't made by any snake.
Are you positive? 'Cause it sure looked like a snake to me. Okay, still no cat scare, but we did get a make-out scare. Which I guess would make it a make-out fake-out. Now let's see, if I was a snake, where would I be? Of course, the university marijuana grow-op. And in case you were thinking we haven't had enough fake-out scares yet... We also have cactus scares. And parrot scares. Still no cat yet.
We better look someplace else.
Oh shit, I was so concerned with looking for the snake I didn't think about what I'd do when I found it. Run!
What is that thing, huh? You tell me right now, what the hell is that thing?
It was a snake, didn't you see it? Maybe you didn't. Like I said, the editing's kind of wonky. One thing's for sure, the shadowy Reverend Satanist, whatever the fuck this guy's supposed to be, is not gonna be pleased.
It will go very badly for you, Mr. Crowley, if you don't fulfill your commitment. I'll pray you're successful. Perhaps you should pray too.
Also what the producer said to William Fruit on the first day of filming. Alright, Kincaid, you got a lot of explaining to do, mainly because this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It comes from an island in Micronesia called Narakapinto. In the native tongue, it means gates of hell. Every 7 years, the island is visited by a great serpent. A serpent that rises from hell to claim the souls and take them back.
You know, I can make all the snarky alcoholic jokes I want, but when it comes right down to it, Oliver Reed gives this movie a lot more dignity than it probably deserves. Alright, listen, Oliver, I know you were actually in The Brood, but right now we're gonna need you to pretend you were in the Dead Zone and give us some snake visions. Even though this is an 80s horror movie, we surprisingly haven't had any nudity yet, and hey, there we go. Now's the part where the movie goes into straight-up slasher territory. The snake even provides the killer POV shots. Seriously, does this thing just constantly move around on its snake tippy toes? Why is the camera so high? Great, not only is the snake breaking and entering, it also tries to kill Pat Benatar as she's trying to freshen up before a show. Well, that's what this girl gets for having a Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster in her house. Alright, as choppy as the editing in this part is, I kinda like that the movie's just saying fuck it and straight up becoming a snake slasher movie, even if things do get a little ridiculous. Hey, occupied, asshole! Well, it's not Christmas or Valentine's Day, so the killer can't be Billy or Axel. My money's on the terror train guy.
Mr. Kincaid, Dr. Hill's been telling me you're talking to this thing.
I'm part of it in some way. I see through its eyes. I really believe that I belong to it.
And that's the only explanation you're going to be getting, so hopefully that's good enough for you.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Even the cop doesn't buy this plot device.
So, where's it now?
Well, by the looks of it, it's somewhere in the opening scene of Evil Dead. Well, at least now it seems to be moving at regular snake height. Hey, you're wearing a bikini in an 80s movie. You'll make a good next victim.
Gotcha!
Oh, never mind, there's just another fake-out scare in the woods. Still waiting for that damn cat.
Bet you thought I was a big snake, eh?
Oh, Brian, I know your snake's average at best. Before they can find out where the snake's gone to, Oliver Reed needs to pose for some of the movie's poster shots. You know, it kind of makes sense that this was marketed as a Scanners knockoff. Oliver Reed spends most of the movie looking like he's about to explode out of his own skin. And if you were wondering if they were ever going to tell us why Kincaid has a psychic link with the snake.
Maybe it's venom production. Maybe it's viral replication. Maybe it's a mind thing, and Jason's allowing his guilt to make it work. I don't know. It could be a million things. It's so weird.
You know, it's rare that a movie flat out tells its audience, look, we don't have an explanation for this either. Just go with it. Meanwhile, I see Crowley's also busy trying to find the snake. Before he can look for it, though, he's got to drain his.
Hey, Kincaid! And Reverend Thanner is pissing on the both of you.
I'm sure he'll definitely live till the end of the movie. Alright, now we come to the premiere effects sequence of the movie where Crowley's bitten multiple times by the snake. Hopefully it's good enough to justify that Fangoria cover. It looks like he's slowly turning into Robert Zadar. Alright, all kidding aside, this is one of the more memorable parts of the movie. This sequence was done by makeup legend Dick Smith, who also did the effects in a ton of other movies like The Exorcist, Altered States, and Scanners, oddly enough. While this isn't among his best work, I can see why Fangoria deemed it worthy of a cover. Too bad we never actually get to see Crowley explode. Oh well, they're still gonna market this like a Scanners knockoff anyway. Well, that does it. Time for Oliver Reed to hop in his sports car and prove to people that he could have played James Bond and Pamela Voorhees. First, though, he's got to find that damn snake. okay. Instead of a snake, there's just a bunch of faulty wiring scares in there. I'm guessing Kincaid doesn't own a cat either. I don't know what he's expecting to find in this house. It just seems to be full of flashbacks to earlier parts of the movie. Alright, I guess they had to pad the runtime to get this thing to 90 minutes somehow. Actually, I joke, but that is pretty much what happened here. Shortly after filming began, one of the production companies bankrolling the movie went under, and the resulting money problems meant that the mechanical snake used in the film wasn't available until the last week of filming, which probably explains why this climax mainly consists of Oliver Reed wandering around in the dark and occasionally getting interrupted by clips of the movie we've already seen. You know, I like to think that running around his mansion sweating and shooting at nothing is just how Oliver Reed spent his evenings anyway. At this point, I think even the snake gets tired of how darkly lit everything is and tries to make sure you can actually see it. Speaking of which, let's finally get a good look at that thing. Looks alright, I guess. You know, even if the snake bites Oliver Reed again, it's not gonna affect him. His blood is like 90% alcohol already. I mentioned that the snake puppet wasn't available until the last week of shooting, which probably explains why this final battle ends so abruptly. Seriously, 1 second he's wrestling with the snake, and then all of a sudden he's walking away from it. Oh boy, looks like Oliver Reed's passed out for the night. Okay, we'll finish shooting tomorrow when he wakes up. With Kincaid dead, how are they gonna get rid of this damn snake? Oh. Okay, I guess they just could have shot it this whole time. And that's as much of an ending as you're gonna get, cause like I said, the movie just ran out of money. Guess that whole evil reverend subplot isn't getting resolved. Despite getting a decent amount of pre-release coverage, Spasms only got a very limited theatrical release before being dumped on VHS, where it mostly languished in obscurity, not even getting a DVD release until 2016. A lot of people involved with the movie were unhappy with it too, with Peter Fonda even saying that this was the worst movie he ever appeared in. Although according to IMDb, that honor actually belongs to Jesse James Lawman. The thing is though, as far as Killer Snake movies go, this isn't the worst one. The biggest problem with the movie is that it feels unfinished, with things like Kincaid's psychic connection to the snake and the evil reverend subplot not really being fleshed out or explained well. And like I said, instead of ending, it just kinda stops. But I do appreciate that it tried to be a little more ambitious with the effects and gore than most of the other Killer Snake movies from the time. And even if he was drunk off his ass making it, Oliver Reed at least seems to be trying here. If the movie had been finished as intended, Spasms might have been able to build up a cult following, but taken as is, yeah, it is kind of a mess. I will say this about it though, it's still a hell of a lot better than Things. Well, that's all for now, but the Canuxsploitation-A-Thon is just getting started, and coming up, I'll even be reviewing some movies that actually got finished. Until next time.